We are
Okay.
recording.
So thanks for plugging in, guys. So we used to like do these team calls all the time, and then like I got all pregnant and off track and stopped organizing them there in the last couple of months. And so we definitely want to bring them back, start doing them like a couple times a month. I think Tuesdays was a day that we decided was good for us, because there's other team calls on like Mondays and Wednesdays and stuff like that. So it's we want you guys to be able to plug into those as well because they have a lot of value. But I also think it's really nice to congregate as a team and have little powwows every couple of weeks. So we'll start doing that 9:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Tuesdays. I believe next Tuesday is our first one, right, Francis?
Yeah.
Yeah. And then I'm going to have a call schedule calendar put in Team Live Long and Prosper. So it'll list all of our calls for the month as well as the calls from other teams. So you guys can look for that document. So tonight, basically, there's so many new coaches and new faces on the team that we wanted to be able to kind of like give you guys the floor, pick our brains, because I know a lot of stuff can get lost in the training system now, where it's an ongoing training, and we kind of put you guys in there and let you work at your own pace. Now we are also devising a way to like monitor and keep up with that so that you guys don't feel like you're on your own. You can always ask questions in those groups. Also, we have our Push to Build group starting tomorrow. So if you are not an Emerald coach and you are not already in that group, then go ahead and request to join it. I believe Francis posted how to join in Diamond Dynasty and also in Team Live Long and Prosper. So yeah, basically it's just kind of pick our brains, ask us any questions you may have or anything that's been kind of on your mind, anything you're confused about. And I know Francis wanted to talk a little bit about branding. Is something that can take a while to kind of figure out what your brand is or how you are going to brand yourself for followers. So Beachbody is not your brand. Beachbody is your tools, it's your products, it's what you love, it's what you believe in, but you are your brand. And you have to build trust and credibility with your followers so that they begin to they trust you. Whenever they trust you, they fall in line with the products that you love and support, because you're doing that from a genuine place, right? So finding your brand is super important, because that's how you speak to your customers, to your potentials, to your friends. That's how they view you, and you don't want them to see as Beachbody. There's 240,000 Beachbody coaches. So at the end of the day, why are they going to choose you to take this journey with? Our fitness and our health is very, very personal. And so they chose you for a reason. And so Francis is just going to talk a little.
Francis.
Can you hear me?
Sorry, it keeps freezing. Is it me or is it you guys?
Yeah. Freezes a lot for me.
Okay, I'm going to put you on mute, Laura, so I can hear.
Okay.
Sorry, guys. Then I'm also going to relocate. Okay. So basically, what I was going to talk about, when we were at the retreat, and obviously Peggy will have something to say about this too, because it's actually something she took away from the retreat. I'm sorry, guys. Hang on one second. Okay, sorry, we're professional. Okay, anyway, Brittany Spain was one of our guest speakers at the retreat, or like our, I don't know, honorary guest or whatever, and she talked about branding yourself. And it was something that I thought was really important because it's not something, I don't know, it's weird. It's like Laura said, like Beachbody isn't our brand, we are. But I know personally I struggled for a long time because I was like, I don't really know who I am. You know, like I know some things I like, but I don't really know how to portray that in a way where people will understand what I really mean. So Brittany had talked about this whole concept, and I'm kind of going to go over it because I've been talking about it a lot in my one-on-one calls with my coaches that I've been doing this last week. And I feel like it's a really good thing to focus on. So basically what she said was, if you guys have read You Are a Badass, or you've done any of Chalene Johnson's trainings about branding and lifetime customers, you'll hear her talk about branding yourself to draw people to you who you want to work with. And we call these people lifers, or, you know, like longtime customers, whatever you want to call them. But basically the way that you'll do that is by attraction marketing. So you're going to create, basically Brittany called it like an avatar. So however you want to do that, you're either going to draw it up, you're just going to imagine it, just this imagine. Okay. And this is where You Are a Badass comes in. In that book, she talks about if you were an alien up in the sky and you were looking down on Earth and you were going to inhabit any form, what would that person be? What would they look like? What would they act like? What would their morals be? What would encompass them? Because that's your ideal person. Okay. And maybe we're not our ideal person, and that's okay. But you're going to write your post and try to target that person in your post. And that's how you're going to attract people to you that are like you. And I think one thing that is a big disconnect, especially for new coaches, because, and it's kind of our fault, because as uplines, we tell our new coaches, just do what the successful coaches are doing. Just look at what they're doing and copy and emulate that. But the problem is that you're not those people. So what works for them might not work for you. You have to find that balance. So figuring out how to take what they're doing and manipulate it into something that fits you is the hard part. So this is kind of a way to do that. And it's really strange because when you think about it, it's like, if I was looking at this little avatar I've created, and like I suggest writing it down. I mean, I'm not artsy, so I'm not going to draw a little person because that would just be ridiculous. But if you wanted to do it, do it. But write out what their qualities are. And the hashtags that you use hashtags that that person would go to. You know, use words and language and, you know, moods that that person would be attracted to. Because at the end of the day, the customers that we work with and the coaches that we end up with on our teams are people that we want to work with forever, because hopefully we will work with them forever. And it's like I was telling Jared, and I think Deneen at one point, you know, imagine yourself on a retreat in next year, the 20 people sitting next to you, who do you want it to be? Do you want it to just be random people that you just randomly find that you don't really know, or that you don't get along with, or who aren't the same type of people as you? No, you want to build your business with people who are like you. And that was like one of my greatest takeaways from the retreat, was that all 27 of us got along perfectly because we're all so similar. And how amazing is it that Stephanie was able to find 27 women who were also similar, where there was no problem. The whole weekend, we all got along. Like, that's amazing. And the reason why was because Stephanie practices attraction marketing. If you look at her posts, the reason why her posts are so amazing is because she's created this vibe. Like, this is her thing, you know, and you're either drawn to it or you're not. And she's gotten so good at it that she's like magnetic. And she'll even tell you she doesn't have to go out and, you know, actively like cold message people as much as others, because she just attracts to her so well. So I think, you know, we used to say, find 5 to 7 things that you like and post about those. And yes, still do that. But you need to have an idea of the market that you're really trying to reach. Because if you're just throwing it out there and hoping anybody picks the bait, you might get stuck with somebody that you absolutely can't stand. And you don't want that. Like, yes, sure, it's great. You might get a sale or you might get a coach, but is that really somebody you want to be working with forever? No. You know, it doesn't mean that they don't deserve help, but I don't know. I hope you guys are understanding what I'm trying to say here. Because branding is a big part of this. And I think too, when new coaches struggle, a lot of the times it's because they don't really understand what their brand is. So they're just kind of all over the place and they're just like, I don't know what I'm doing. I'm just going to try 1,000 different things and hopefully one of them will work. So you're too general. You're too broad. You need to like narrow it down a little bit. And that way there, you're going to be attracting more people to you that you can relate to, because you're going to ultimately be able to help them better if you can relate to them better. It's like if I was trying to like, I don't know, what's a good one? Like, I don't even know. If I was trying to relate to somebody who is like the world's most religious person, like the Pope, I probably would really struggle there because I can't go a whole conversation without cussing once. So we want to get along. Like, I don't want to, I don't know. Peggy actually at the retreat really grasped onto this because when she first started, she had branded and then she tried to change it a little and change it a little bit more. And she was kind of stumbling through. And I feel like ever since you got back from the retreat, sorry to put you on the spot here, you've been working harder on that. And it's showing, like your posts are more consistent. Your whole vibe has just started to change and you've molded it a little bit more in the direction of you instead of just like what you think it should be,
Yeah. I mean, or I don't know if I can interject for a second about it, but like, I was telling my coaches this on the call we had the other night about, branding yourself. And, Frances touched upon the aspect of reaching out to the people that are like you and who you want your team to be like, creating a team of like avatars, basically, like these are your soldiers. And I want to touch upon the fact, the aspect of actually the visual part of it. So she touched upon like the text, and who you're going to be branding to and all of that. But for me, I wanted to touch upon maybe like the visual aspects. So all of my posts are consistent. So I went ahead and I played with like Rona and I looked at, a few of the coaches' pages and I was like, okay, what is it about them that gets you to look at their posts? And you see all of them and you're like, they're consistent. They have the same text in every in every post. They have the same type of filter. And those are little minor things that actually make a huge difference. So if you were to take a look at like my posts before the leadership retreat, they were kind of like all over the place. I didn't really have a right direction or anything. But if you look at after, I went ahead and I played with, a couple fonts that I played, with certain pictures that I wanted to, emulate to everybody. And, now there's more of a flow. I use the same 2 fonts. I use the same type of, visuals every single time. So that was one thing. The second thing that I was telling my team is to create a feeling in your posts. I think it's so key. And I was telling them about an example in Jab, 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 Right Hook, which is a personal development book. If you don't have it, I would go get it. And it helps you with creating a feeling in one of the chapters. So basically, if you took Nike, for example, Nike isn't going to go ahead and post like, hey, 50% off our sneakers, buy them because they're awesome. They create a feeling. They're going to show you a picture of a long path of a runner that wants to go running down, and they're going to describe the path of what it's like to get up in the morning, have the fresh air hit your face, and what it's like to feel the accomplishment after you're done that mile run. And that is going to make the person go out and buy those Nikes, not the 50% off. I mean, sure, there might be a couple people that are like, I want these Nikes and I'm going to buy them because they're 50% off. But you're going to get the majority of people to buy the Nikes because they want the feeling too of, I want the cold air hitting my face and I want to feel amazing after, my run. And, that's going to get me in shape. So I got to go buy these Nikes because I'm going to look awesome running down this trail too. So, those things I would really touch upon, and I'm trying my best to, start taking pictures that kind of emulate a feeling rather than, just a whatever kind of post. Like, here's me, my Shakeology. Like, I want to create something that's like, I feel great because of this Shakeology, and you can feel great too because of the Shakeology. And I'm really excited because I kind of think about it as a blog almost, and that's what I tell my team. Think of it as if you were to go onto someone's blog that you love and you look at their posts and you see like this person just creates a feeling like I want to work out with her, or I want to do yoga with her, or I want to go have brunch with her, or drink coffee with her because she looks awesome and she's very unique, and that's the type of person I want to get to know. That's what you guys need to emulate through your post. So that was my suggestion and my takeaway, but I don't know if that made sense. I hope it did, but that's yeah.
Forgot I muted myself. Yeah, no, it definitely did. And that was one of the things that when Britt was talking, I was really like, oh my God, like I get it now, because for so long I was kind of just like, oh, I'm just going to throw out this post because I need to. And it didn't, I guess there was some flow, but it wasn't really reaching out to the people that were like me. And so, when I look at my coaches and I'm looking at their volume and I'm looking at their teams, which like you mentioned, your dream team of avatars, like that's your army. When you guys do your dream teams and you write that out, it needs to be people that like are your homies. Like they're going to hold you down. Don't just fill it with space fillers. Don't just put discount coaches or anyone you think you might be able to get to sign up. No, put people who like you're going to be proud to have with you on stage at Summit. Like when you guys are top 10, because that's your dream team. Not somebody just like, I don't know, maybe I can get them to sign up. That's not a dream. That's like a filler. So it just, going back, when I was looking through to get ready for these one-on-one calls and I was looking at volume and we were talking about, retention rates and like getting customers who are sticking to their HD and participating in the challenge groups, it all comes down to, if you have a bunch of people in your challenge group who aren't like you and who don't relate to you, they're not going to participate. They're not going to be there. They're not going to show up, just like you wouldn't if you were in a group with somebody you didn't really get along with, Maybe you get along with them, but they just don't feel comfortable with you, or you don't feel comfortable with them, or, whatever, the vibe is off. So it's super important. And I'm not saying turn people away if they're not just like you, but be mindful of what you're putting out there, because whatever you put out is what you're going to attract. So that was one of my biggest things that I took away. Yeah, that's it. That was my whole branding thing that I was going to put out there. So I guess now, unless Lori or Peggy, you have anything else to throw on, we can just open it up. Anybody? Don't leave me hanging. I'll start singing to you guys. I'm on a roll tonight.
I wouldn't let me unmute myself. I was going to say, don't feel like you have to find your voice or your brand right away, because that's something that will definitely evolve. If you were to go back and look at my posts the first couple of months as a coach, it's very different than what it is now. It's definitely something that's evolved. It's taken me a while to find my voice and my footing and to feel, comfort in how I talk to my audience. And I've seen a very real switch whenever, but it's not something that it was like, I'm a coach, here's my thing, I'm going to start talking about it and people are going to love it. Like that's not what happens. So I think that you should realize that it's not, it's something that evolves, and it's just part of the process to stay patient with. Yeah.
And in a way, I think doing that whole avatar thing and like branding and whatever, like Brittany was saying, where you create this person, who's almost like this imaginary wannabe version of yourself, you kind of start that whole fake it till you make it process. And that's really how you get engaged in that. And, all the personal development you'll do, because we're all doing our personal development, and everything you're building up all along gets you to that point. And eventually you're going to be like, oh shit, like I am that person now. Like, I feel like that's almost how Amy Silverman was, like even just watching her for the last year. In the last year, she's transformed so much. And I'm just like, oh my God, like this girl is a force, like I want to be on Amy Silverman's team because, oh my God, she just seems so like in her element and she just loves it. And it's just like Steph Davies. I mean, like they're magnetic. And the reason why is just simply because they've learned how to harness that power behind attracting people to them by just literally being themselves and what they want to be, not necessarily what they are right now, but what they're aspiring to be is going to attract those people. So
can I touch upon the fake it till you make it part?
Yeah.
So I don't know if like everyone understands that, and it kind of took me like, I don't know, maybe I'm slow. It took me like a little bit to grasp it, but I think it was, Steph Davies that kind of told it to me one time when I like really needed to hear it. And she's like, girl, you just got to fake it till you make it. And I was like, what? Like, what? Like, I'm not fake. Like, I can't do that. But she's like, no. She's like, you got to be enthusiastic. You have to, put yourself out there and, be that like virtual cheerleader basically, and be excited about everything, because the thing is, like attracts like. And if you're excited about things, other people are going to be excited about it too. So whether it be like, I don't care if you made $30 on your paycheck. If you have that $30, find something that you can pay for, like your groceries. Like, boom, here's, my Beachbody check. Thanks, Beachbody, for paying for my groceries this week. It's something so small that is going to make a huge impact later. And, as the money starts coming in too, you're going to be able to like do more and more things with that, which I thought was huge. You'll see, so it was a Scotty Hobbs that sat there and did the phone call with like paying off his loans or something like that. Like, that was such a huge thing. And a lot of people can relate to it because everybody has loans. Everybody is in debt. And when you sit there and you can show people that there is a way to help them with the financial aspect too, it's going to be like easier for you. So I would, try to tap into that if you can. Some coaches post, about their money and everything. You don't have to post the amount. You can just say like, even if you're paying off a credit card bill, like, here's my credit card and here's a pair of scissors and I'm cutting it in half because thanks, Beachbody, like, you just helped me pay my credit card bill. It's little things like that that'll help you along the way.
Right. And also that puts you in a positive mindset when you can focus, like if you only made $30 that week, that's $30 more than you had before. So it may not be billions, but hell, that's $30. And I know I can get some serious food for $30. So, enjoy it and let people see that you're excited about it. Because, like, I remember when I first started, I was posting about my income, like, oh my God, my first paycheck, I'm so excited. And now I'm like, they're seeing my progression over time in my pay and like what I'm making and what it's doing for me. So even though I'm not constantly putting it out there, like, this is the dollar amount I made, they see my excitement growing with each week. So it does that as well. Okay, so we've got about 7 minutes. Anybody have questions? I hear somebody on there. Or is that just you, Peggy? Or Laura?
I might be eating.
We're such professionals. We got this, guys.
Do you ladies see on, since you've been around long enough and you've noticed people's other coaches post, could you critique? I'm asking you to critique. Can you critique me, please? Because I understand where you're coming from as far as, like, somebody slapped me, get it together, and I'm starting to finally get it. I mean, it's taken me a while, but I'm starting to finally get it because, like I said, I am type A personality, and I want it written out so that I can do it. I remember the call that I had with Laura and Peggy, and I think Francis was on it too, and I was like, you girls aren't giving me like procedures to work off of this. I remember that, and I was like freaking out, but I get it. Thank you. I get it. Can you critique like what we shouldn't do? Because I'm all over the place with these posts.
I think, and this is just my opinion, Laura and Peggy might feel differently. In my opinion, I can't really critique you because I'm not you. Like Peggy said, just don't sell, don't be salesy. But besides that, who you are is who you are. Some people, like, for instance, I'll use Amy Silverman. Some people think she's way too much. others think she's amazing, so it depends on who's looking at her. So for me to come to you and critique you, I can't really do that. I mean, I can give you advice on like styles and like, the actual layout of your post, but for your content, that needs to come from you, in my opinion. And that's why I think spending time really thinking about your message and what you want this post to attract to you is so vital. I mean, that's just me.
I think whenever coaches start to like struggle, or they have like a couple of like just off months and they ask me to look at their page, I always come back with the same thing. And that is, if I were a stranger and I don't know who you are, I should be able to look through your last week's post and get a pretty good idea about who you are. Like, I need to know more than, you're just a health and fitness coach. If you went and looked at, Frances's page, you would know who she is. You would know had her wings because she's a real person and she talks about that kind of stuff. She doesn't hide it. So she talks about, I would want to be able to go and see who you are. So because I've had, same thing, like coaches ask, like, what am I doing wrong on my page, or my posts are everywhere? And it's just not, it's usually just because it's not enough them. Like, and I can't get a, and I'll go look at your page. But I have a feeling like if you feel like you are struggling, it's because people probably just want to see more of who you are. And that's where the uncomfortable stuff happens. Talking about, struggles, successes, all the hairy, scary stuff.
Thank you. Also, do you suggest that if I don't want to take up your time, but the fitness pages are at this point, like for me, I know that we can go back and get rid of them if we don't want them. But is there, I guess because the fitness pages let you boost, the fitness pages let you see your activity as far as how many people are actually looking at it and so forth. It's the regular page, does that allow you to do all that as well? Like
No.
insights and all that?
I think they were testing doing that anymore, because there was a time on Facebook whenever like you could boost a personal post, and I think it was something that they were testing like 6 or 8 months ago, but it's not. Honestly, it was really slow going for me for my fitness page. Then once I hit the 1,000 likes mark, I started to get more likes and more engagement organically, just because of sheer numbers. And then like for Frances, it was the opposite. Like she, before she was coaching, she was using Beachbody products, and people knew that. So she threw fitness page up there and people started to like it, and it started to grow differently. For me, it took probably close to a year, maybe it was 11 months before I hit 1,000 likes. And I was like working, like friending new people, inviting them to like my page, sending messages to people that hadn't liked my page. But now honestly, my like page is pretty good now that I've hit that 1,000 like mark. So I know that there's a lot of you like around 500-600, and I would just my advice at that point would be stick it out till you get to 1,000 and see if it changes for you.
Okay, thank you.
All right, guys, I think this is going to end any second now, so we'll just call it quits. And if you guys have questions, since we didn't really get too many, just post them in the comments in Team Live Long and Prosper, and we'll answer them. All right?
Everyone smile.
Cheers.
Where's Deneen? Never in the picture.
Janine's naked. All right. Are we good, Peggy?
Yeah.
This is a long ass minute. All right. Bye, guys.
We're wearing a shirt. Bye.
Bye.